Welcome, everybody, to the PodAskew Podcast. I am CJ, and with me, as always, is my hetero life mate, Rico. What's going on, man?
Oh, same old, CJ. How are you? I'm tired.
You're tired?
I'm just tired.
Yeah.
I mean,
you've had a long
for
week.
Our listeners, yeah, man, I've had a long month.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I could actually say I've had a long year because 2019 is pretty fresh, but I've had a long year so far.
Yeah.
But
I'm right there with you, brother. I really am.
Yeah. Steph and I, we are 9/10 done of the move. We moved out of my father's house and now moved into my mother's house. So a little bit of adjustment, but it's still like major work in progress. And I mean, my mother and my stepfather have been both very gracious to us and helpful. But like, it's an adjustment. We got Dino and Sugar and Steph and I in one, it's a decent sized bedroom. We have our own little bathroom. We have a toilet and a sink. It's basically the same layout as the garage. We just don't have a shower in here with us. So we have to take showers in the other bathroom that's in the hallway and everything. But
is the size comparable or is it smaller?
I would say it is bigger for based on the fact that it has a closet. That helps. We have a closet we can put all our clothes in. We don't need what? It's a walk-in closet. And
oh wow.
I mean,
that's
useful. So comparable size-wise, it's similar, but the difference is that when we got here, there was already furniture already in here. So we're like adjusting to. I mean, a lot of our stuff is going to be in storage. That's just the fact of the matter.
Is there some stuff you guys could just get rid of and replace when you're ready to get your own place? Or
we've talked about that, but I think it makes more sense just to keep it in storage. But like, it's more about like if we should introduce furniture in here,
right?
And then like unpack stuff, and then we may only stay 6 months. We maybe renegotiate with them after 6 months, but we kind of want our own fucking place by 6 months.
Sure, that makes sense.
I mean, I got like 3 containers of DVDs and whatnot and games and shit. And so like big, huge plastic tubs. And they're all just sort of stacked in the closet, like sort of near our clothes. So we're like, well, we'd like to go to IKEA and get a whole, shelving thing.
Sure.
An entertainment center. And then we're at the same time like, should we even fucking buy it and put it into here and then organize all the DVDs when in 6 months we're just going to back it all up and move it all again. Like, so we're just trying to adjust for the first, but we want to try and stay here for a week first and not kill each other. That's, I think, our first goal.
That's a good goal.
And I mean specifically me and my mother.
Okay. I understand. Yeah. So, well, it's stressful, but at least you're not dealing with certain things you were dealing with before, like leaks and things like that. So. Mold.
Well, we are, but we're saying goodbye to it. That we are still dealing with mold and leaks, but at least it's just the tail end of it. We're like, all right, well, that's ruined. Well, I guess that's now trash.
Right. Well, I'm talking about like going forward, though. It's like that's not going to be an ongoing thing. So. Yeah,
I mean, it is mold and leaks are now a thing in the past, unless we stumble upon it if we get a house or an apartment, and then we have to deal with it again. Well, and then I may very well just turn into a mold monster just because, evil inhabits evil.
Right. It's like the fucking Golgothan from Dogma.
That's right. Nice segue.
Thank you. Speaking of that, I have a connection that we missed when we did our Clerks episode last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, at least to me, it's a connection. Maybe you won't view it the same way, but I have, and I know I kind of gave you like a cryptic heads up that I wanted to talk about this, but I didn't get into the details because if I'm right, I wanted to get your genuine reaction to this when we recorded it. So,
is it a connection in a roundabout way, or is it like?
No, I think it's pretty direct. I think it's
let me hear it.
I think it's subdued, though. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So,
all right, it's a subtle connection.
It's subtle, but it's something that Well, okay. So what it connects directly to, I should set this up a little better, is the one-aired Clerks pilot terrible television show that you and Mike told me about that I actually have never seen.
Yeah.
It's connected to that, and in my opinion at least, well, let me just play you the clip. So the clip I'm going to play you, and for our audience, is from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And this is where the connection comes in. So I'm going to play you a clip from that movie, which is, I know, is a movie you know well of the entire View Askew universe. That's probably the one you know the best, I would think, right?
That and Chasing Amy, I'd say toe-to-toe, I know the best.
Okay, that's fair. So I'm going to play this for you, and you may have thought of this and just never talked about it, but I'm going to play the clip, and this is, to set it up, it's pretty late in the movie, and this is when Jay and Silent Bob meet Biggs and Vanderbeek, playing them in the Bluntman and Chronic movie.
Okay.
Bluntman and Chronic Strike Back?
Yeah, you're doubling me, obviously. I'm playing Bluntman, a.k.a. Silent Bill.
Bob.
Right, and he's playing Chronic, a.k.a. Ray.
Jay. Fuck. Biggs, you can read the script?
Okay. I think, because you told me that Jay and Silent Bob were supposed to be in this show, they'd never do, or they're not Bob, but just Jay. But then when Kev got wind of it, he sent a letter or lawyers or whatever, and they changed the character's name to Ray. And I think that was Kev taking a direct shot at that TV pilot that went to crap.
I think you're 100% accurate. You know what? I didn't make that connection. I tip my hat to you, sir. I didn't make that connection. I think you did. You did some good sleuthing.
Thank you. It really kind of came up when so we always record on Sunday. Our audience probably knows that. I think we've talked about it enough. And so yesterday was Saturday. I was feeling a little under the weather. Not sick, but just run down. You know what that's like, I'm sure. So I was just...
I feel it.
Yeah. So I was just laying on the couch, and we are preparing to do an Indiana Jones episode, whether it's tonight or soon. Yeah, so I started watching Indiana Jones movies yesterday when I wasn't feeling well, and then as I started to get tired, in case I fell asleep, I put on Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, because that way if I fell asleep, I didn't miss anything. Ultimately, I ended up not falling asleep, but I did end up watching the whole movie, and as I got to this part that we just played, it was like, wait a minute, Ray. He could have picked any name. I mean, I guess there's not that many that rhyme with J, but still, I'm sure he could have picked a couple different names that it could have been to, for Biggs to fuck up. And it turns out he goes with Ray, this name of this, pilot where they tried to steal his character.
Right. I mean, I think because I don't think Biggs is known for fucking up characters or anything like that.
No.
So I think it was, it kind of looked like, okay, they were just these young, new Hollywood, the It Boys of the 90s and late 90s and
right.
2000s.
Yeah.
They're it's something Miramax would push. And I think it was also a huge, middle finger to, ABC.
Sure. I mean, I don't know, and I did not do the research on, is how long after the pilot this was done. Is it years? Is it a year? Is it months? That I don't know. And I didn't do that. Did you
look up on IMDb to see if there was a connection for
that? What do you mean a connection? I mean, no, but I don't know what.
Someone else put that as trivia.
You mean
Jason
when they do
Biggs,
that kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, Jason Biggs calls the J character Ray, which was also the name that they used when they renamed Jay in the Clerks TV series.
I am checking now, so I will get back to you in a second on that part. But
I'm just curious if you may have actually unearthed something.
Ooh, check me out.
You, sir, are the Indiana Jones of the podcast right
now. Here's a piece I didn't know. It has nothing to do with that scene, but apparently Mark Hamill did the Scooby-Doo voice.
I told you that.
Did you tell me that? You might have. I believe you.
I told you that when we talked about Jambo. It's on an episode. The listeners know that I told you this.
All right.
Rob. Oh, while you're doing this, I got a quick story for you. The other night when I was at work.
Please.
There was a customer who came in, and I told him he had a late fee. He had a late fee, and then he also wanted to buy we have these things at the video store called blocks, and a block is a series of credits or rentals that you can buy in bulk to lessen the price. So you pay for them now and you get a discount, and then there's no expiration date. So instead of a customer paying $6 for a film, you can get 10 rentals for $50. So it's so you save $10, but you have to pay for it all in one chunk. And the minimum is 10. But you can go higher, you go 20 for 100 and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And so this guy he had a late fee and he wanted to buy a block. And he wanted to buy a block, and then he changed his mind. But he had a late fee, and he just said, I'll just pay for the rentals instead of buying the block. And it totaled up to $37. And I said, your total's 37. And he went, 37? And I burst out laughing. And I was like, dude, that's a good reference. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, no, you're just pissed off at 37. My bad.
Whoopsie.
And I had to explain, I'm like, I'm sorry, you just sort of made a weird, perfect, movie reference to this movie Clerks that I'm a big fan of. And he's like, so what you're telling me is I made a reference to a movie Clerks to a clerk? And I'm like, yeah, kind of. You were sort of doing life imitating art imitating life, so to speak. But he did the 37 that you and I always joke around.
Yeah.
But he did it in a really angry voice. 37?
Right.
It was like if Dante had actually been really fucking aggressive. Like, my girlfriend sucked 37 dicks.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was.
I'm paying attention, man. I'm just trying to do a quick scan. I'm trying not to read. There's a lot of these things on here, so I'm trying not to read every one of them because I'll be here all day.
Yeah, I fall in that rabbit hole. I watch a movie, then I look up the trivia. That's what I always do.
Yeah, I should, but I don't do that. No, there's nothing on here that I can see that says that that's a connection to that pilot.
I think you may have coined something, dude. Or not coined something. I think you've unearthed something.
Well, I think it's one of the questions we save for if we ever get the Q&A with Kev. If we ever get the interview with Kev. If we ever get him on this fucking show.
Yeah, here I am. I actually asked a motherfucker a question, and I wasted it with, will you sign this copy of Yoga Hosers?
Yeah, well, you didn't have your hetero life mate at the time, so...
I feel like I wasted the Oracle question. You only get one question asked the Oracle, and you're just like... I was like, can I ask... It was like you may ask one question. Okay, so I can ask one question. Then they say yes, and they walk away. That's all you get. Technically, you asked your one question.
I would love to see if it's right, if I'm right, how impressed he would be that someone figured that out. If someone put that together. If he would be impressed by it or annoyed by it or just not give a shit.
We should just tweet him.
Yeah, I thought of that. I did think of that. Well, I did kind of tweet him today because a bunch of podcasts have started following us on Twitter.
Yeah.
And so what they have been coming across is people asking for podcast recommendations. And so my timeline, my personal one and the show timeline has become riddled with people saying, do you have any podcast recommendations for new shows to listen to? And they're not from other podcasts. They're just people who want shows to listen to. So every time I see that, as much as I can, I tweet our name, and then I've been trying to include a link to the show. Mm-hmm. So on this one today, the person he said, I've never listened to podcasts. All the other ones have been I listen to shows, but I need a new one. This guy was I've never listened to podcasts. I need shows. So I did the usual, but I also then after that wrote, and also anything by Kevin Smith, but I put his actual Twitter handle so that it tagged him. So he saw, theoretically, he saw that tweet. So
yeah,
I'm hoping that we're getting enough in his field of view that eventually he's going to be curious about us, and not in a cease and desist kind of way, but like.
I want to say, I'm not 100% sure because I didn't double check it, but I thought I saw Mark Bernard like followed us.
No, I don't think so. He's liked a few things that we've said, but I don't think he's actually followed us.
He either liked something or he followed us.
He's definitely
I'm not 100% sure.
He's definitely liked a few things that we've said. Yeah, that's for certain. I can say that with a certainty. But now you've got me curious, so I'm going to go look. But yeah, I'm almost positive it's just the one.
Yeah, I was so wrapped up with the move today. I just saw it. I'm like, what's his screen name? Is it Mark something writing or something?
No, I think. Oh, no. You're thinking of my buddy Mark. He's Mark B.
Mark
Writing.
B. Writing?
Yeah, that's my buddy Mark that does the Twitch thing that I'm on with sometimes.
Okay, that's what it was because I assumed it was Mark Bernard Writing because Mark Bernard's a fucking writer, man.
Yeah, you're a writer, man.
So that's why I fucked up.
Yeah, Bernard is just at Mark Bernardin. Just that's what his is. So.
All right. Well, I'm an idiot. But thanks Mark for adding us.
Yeah. No. He's a good dude too. But no, Bernard's definitely liked some things we've said. I've definitely seen those. So it's not that he's not aware of us either, but you know, the holy grail for me at this point is Kev. With Mark a close second. Like, as much as I love Jay and Ralph and those guys, those are my top two from the View Askew universe that I would want to interview.
Oh, I'd love to have Ralph on. Just so I can have an impressionist off with him. And he'll still crush me, but I know there are a couple impressions I could do better than him.
I think he would get annoyed by that, though. He just strikes me as someone that, like, I know he lets people come up on Babylon and do that from time to time, and I think he's very gracious about it, but I think if you wanted to have a flat-out voice-off, he'd get pissed.
Well, then I could be famous for pissing off Ralph Garman.
Right? So, there's that. About a minute. That's true. In any event, so, but yeah, so hopefully we'll get him, because I would love to. I'm compiling a very short list of questions that I would like to ask Kev. And I say a short list because we know one question will be elaborated on for an hour and a half. So,
did you ever see, it was the guy who died recently who did the documentary about the death of Superman Lives?
Yeah. I can't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about. I'll try to get his name.
Like,
but I know,
Schwepp or something?
Something like that. I'll get it for you.
I was like, I like the dude, but I was never a massive fan. But I did like the documentary. It showed one
really
part,
good.
like it was like an extra deleted scene or something of him interviewing Kevin Smith about Superman Returns, and then it just shows the guy nodding like this, nodding really kind of aggressively.
Yeah.
And just Kevin talking and talking. And just the guy just keep nodding, like, all right, keep talking, go ahead, like, go on. And it was like Kevin was like talking for like 3 hours when he just asked the one question, like, so what was it like working for, like, you know, blah blah blah. And it's just like, well, let me tell you about this. Like just going on and on and on.
And that's what Kev does. His name
I
is
was there, man. I saw it in person.
His name is John Schnepp. And
Schnepp. I was close.
And he passed away on July 19th of last year. So.
Yeah, I heard like a lot of people were really brokenhearted about it.
I think he was just well loved among the circle that knew him. Do you know what I mean? Like yeah.
Kevin gave him a lot of praise.
Absolutely. Did you ever way off tangent, but did you ever watch what was it called? The A-Team, the movie, not the TV show, the movie that they did with Liam Neeson and Bradley Cooper?
No, I saw clips of it, but I never saw the whole thing.
Okay.
Why?
No, there's a scene where there's this, and it's a kind of a throwaway scene to the whole movie, where there's a guy who works the crematorium at the prison that Hannibal's in, and it looks like John Schnepp so much to the point that I actually had to look it up to see if it was him. Because the dude's acted a bit, too. He's more known for writing and directing, but he's been in a few things. You know, so...
What else has he been in?
Where was it? He's got 20 credits according to this. He's been on the Schmodown, but that's basically like movie fights. I'm trying to see... Day in the Life, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, but that's more of a voice. Space Ghost, but that's a voice. He was also character designer on both of those shows, and Metalocalypse. He was a voice on that too. Caller ID he was on. Yeah. That's all I'm coming across right now, but I know he's been on a few things, and he also looks like a guy from Whose Line, whose name escapes me right now. But Mike Machine. He's also the guy that plays Friar Tuck in that Robin Hood Prince of Thieves movie we've talked about previously.
Oh yeah, you're right. He does look like him. Is that the same guy from the movie Tom and Huck?
I'm sorry, Mike Machine.
I think that's what I'm thinking of. If you could look him up and let me know
the guy.
if he was in the movie.
You're talking about the guy from Robin Hood, though. Is that who you're?
Yeah. If he's the guy who played in Tom and Huck, which was a movie of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn combined, it was like Disney made their own version.
Okay.
And I remember that movie kind of fucked me up because there was some scary ass like parts of that movie.
Do you remember when that came out, roughly?
94, 95.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Like, God, dude, Steph and I were talking about, like, kids' movies that we watched that were, like, really dark and really fucked up that, like, had such a weird, dark impact on us. Like we talked about The Swan Princess. Do you remember The Swan Princess?
I've never seen it, but yeah, I had to think about it. But yeah, real quick, he was in A Bug's Life, which I know is, like, one of Steph's favorites, isn't it? Or your favorite?
That's one of my favorites, yeah.
Yeah, he's in
Who was he in The Bug's Life?
He was... Where I just lost it because I was trying to find this other one for you. Hold on. Shit. Oh, God, he was in the Clerks TV show.
Was he really?
Yeah. I think the animated one, though. I think it's the animated one, not the... Yeah, it's the animated one, not that live-action one you were talking about.
Is he also the same guy who was the shrink in Office Space?
I will get back to you on that because you got me jumping all around his fucking timeline.
All right.
A Bug's Life, he was Tuck Roll, it says.
He was Tuck and Roll.
He
was the Russian, like, fucking roly-poly, fucking roly-poly bugs.
Okay, I know what those are, but I've never seen the movie, so.
You never seen A Bug's Life?
No.
Oh, dude, you're missing out.
Okay.
Yeah, Steph just gave me a huge, like, wide-eyed, like, 1,000-yard stare. Like, what?
Dude, you are right. He was in Tom and Huck. He was Muff Potter.
That's right. Yeah, I called it. Yeah, he's Muff Potter.
I know that we have some other things we want to talk about, but just in case we get to it, he actually was in the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles by coincidence. Because I know we talked about trying to get to Indy.
Is this guy still alive?
Yeah, Mike Machine's still alive.
Is he still working? What's he been in recently?
The most recent thing he did was Redbird TV show. He was in that show. And then,
the hell's Redbird?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with that one. I'll look it up in a minute. And then he was in Wayward Pines, which is M. Night Shyamalan's limited series thing that he did. It's like a mini series almost, but it was on TV on Fox. I remember that.
Speaking of M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong,
oh wait, to your other question, he was Dr. Swanson in Office Space.
Got it.
Yep. Go ahead. So about M. Night.
Speaking of M. Night, have you been like hearing about Glass?
No, I've seen the trailers, but I haven't heard anything.
Do you know anything about it? Are you like, have you been following that trilogy?
I saw Unbreakable years ago, and I have not seen it since, and I have seen Split. So I'm familiar with it enough to know that it's taking characters from both of those movies and basically making it into a trilogy, because Unbreakable was part 1, Split was part 2, and Glass is going to be part 3. But that's they're all supposed to be like superheroes to some capacity, but that's the extent of my knowledge base.
Yeah, it's like if M. Night was making a superhero franchise. Is really what it is. Right. So I really wanted to. I was such a huge fan of Unbreakable, and I really did like Split. So I was really looking good. Hardcore.
I'm not a fan of that style of movie, and I like that movie a lot.
McAvoy is really good in it. And the only I had my suspicions when the first trailer was coming out, because I'm like, okay, he comes off like a supervillain. I wonder if this is like a secret.
Oh, McAvoy? Okay.
I was like, I wonder if this is a secret sequel to Unbreakable, because I had been wanting a sequel to Unbreakable for a long time. And then there's a bonus scene after Split that confirms it's a sequel, where you see fucking Bruce Willis.
Yes.
In like
a diner. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they say, his name was Mr. Glass. And then obviously Glass is coming out, and the early reviews are super mixed. Like most of the fans that were like, we really were looking forward to a good conclusion of the Glass trilogy or the Unbreakable trilogy, they're just disappointed. Like, it's just such a convoluted and like, it's just not really what they wanted. So all the rise of the rebirth of M. Night apparently is sort of like smoldering down. The flames are kind of dying out, because he was coming back pretty strong. He made another one called The Visit. I thought that was really good. Where, like, these kids go visit their grandparents they never met. Their grandparents are like crazy and like wild.
Right, and the interesting thing for me with it, with the previews that I've seen, is that, like, you've seen some of the trailers or previews or whatever for Glass?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, you see McAvoy's character, the Split, I can't remember his name, because I know he's a split personality, but his main character has a name, and I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, that's not the important part. The important part is you see him, like, climbing up a wall, like he's like Spider-Man, and I don't remember having that kind of power in Split.
He does. That's the Beast character, which this is when it goes from this guy's got multiple personalities or dissociative identity disorder to this is a guy who also is a super villain who also has multiple personalities. So one of his personalities or one of his alters or whatever you want to call them is known as the Beast, which is like basically a violent animal, superhuman strength kind of thing, and has the ability to walk on ceilings and walls. Okay. So that was featured when the Beast was introduced in Split.
I probably just have to go back and see it again because I don't remember that.
I need to rewatch it myself. I want to rewatch Unbreakable and Split before I go see that.
I want to do the same. I want to watch. I mean, I don't need to watch Split as much, but I probably would just for consistency. But I do need to see Unbreakable again because it's been years. I mean, years. I just pulled up Glass on Rotten Tomatoes. It's not doing well.
No, it's not. I mean, a lot of people are bitching about it. A lot of people just say it's just subpar.
It's at 38%.
Oh, that's awful, dude.
Out of 40 reviews, 15 have said fresh, 25 have said rotten. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I really wanted it to succeed. I was really hoping it was going to be really good. I'll see it. I'll make my own opinion. But
well, and if I recall, Gotti was like 0% on this thing, but like everyone wanted to see it for a while at least, or whatever it was called, the Travolta thing.
Yeah, it's called Gotti, but everyone wanted to see it because this has been a movie that was in hardcore development hell forever.
Right.
So people love a good train wreck, They want to see this movie that's been like shelved for 20 years off and on by studios, that it had multiple actors cast and then fired, and like Joe Pesci was in it originally and he gained a bunch of weight and then they fired him and then he like sued them because he like gained all this weight and like and then like it was originally supposed to be directed by Barry Levinson, and then it ended up being the dude who plays E in Entourage who directed it. You're like, what the fuck is this crazy roller coaster of a movie? And I saw it because I love a good mob movie, and it's fucking awful. Like,
it didn't look good.
it looked good, but what you see in the trailer is like all the best parts of the movie, and you really should just been like, well, all right, that's all I need to see. But it features some weird. I will say this: Travolta is good because
That's
also
what I heard. I heard he was the only good part of the movie.
He is the only good part of the movie, but it's also because he looks a lot like John Gotti, to the point where it's like, wow. Like, you look at them side by side, you're like, holy shit, dude. Like, I don't know if it's makeup, like, or if Travolta has some really good, prosthetics, but like, it looks convincing enough where you have to really double take. And Travolta actually, like, the Gotti family was in part of the filming.
Right.
And production. And they actually supplied, like, costumes for Travolta to wear. And the really weird, there's a lot of bad to the movie, but there's a really weird thing where it is the beginning of the film and the end of the film is John Travolta as Gotti talking to us, breaking the fourth wall, and talking about his life. But he talks about how he's dead. So it's literally the ghost of John Gotti telling us about his life and death. It's a really weird thing. But Travolta John Travolta wore the overcoat that belonged to John Gotti, and he said it actually made him feel unnerved because he could still smell his cologne on the coat.
Wow. And
he said, like, I know this guy killed people. Like, I'm wearing a coat that probably was at a scene of a murder.
Yeah, probably.
So, but honestly, Kelly Preston is the worst thing in the movie. She's the real life wife of John Travolta, and she plays the wife of John Gotti, which incidentally, John Gotti's wife has the same last name as me, Giorgio.
Oh, really?
And I had to double check. I'm like, are we related to the fucking Gottis? I didn't know this.
Yeah, right.
I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I'm like, oh, well, DiGiorgio is not a super common Italian last name, but it's also not Smith either.
Right.
Like, but for a split second, I had to do some research. I'm like, okay, I don't think we're related. So
I'm not a fan of sharing my last name, and I'm not going to, but I will tell you that I am Smith in Germany.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, it's Smith. My whole name, as it's fully constituted, is basically John Smith in Germany. I'm not kidding you.
C.J. Smith?
Yeah, basically. So.
Yeah, Gotti was weird. But you know what I did see? That I can talk about for just a brief.
Sure.
I saw Aquaman.
Oh, yeah? If you recall, on the New Year's Eve episode, I told you my mom went and saw it that day.
I remember. I remember the New Year's Eve episode pretty well, CJ.
I do too now that I've had to go back and listen to it. And I got to tell you something, I stopped. I couldn't finish it. I finished it for editing and release, but when I always... So, for those who don't know or just have not heard when I've talked about it before, generally what happens is we re-record, I go back and I edit the episode, but then after we release it, I go and listen again just to make sure that the upload went correctly. And I couldn't finish listening to it. I had to stop.
Because it was hard or something?
Yeah,
or?
It was very hard. It was very difficult to hear myself like that.
We know the audience knows that you're out of the two of us, you're sort of the nice guy of the two of us. I mean, let's really be honest. Like, you really are. You're the more polite of the two, but we bust each other's balls. But I'm the one who's like, fuck you and fuck your opinion. Like, this is my fucking opinion. You're like, well I have an opinion. It's cool. You have an opinion, but let's talk this up.
It's like the clip from the clip part of the show, the good part of the show, where the last clip is like you yelling at me, like, you take my advice and go get fucked.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so just to hear you and see you be that douche was kind of like we were more concerned than anything.
I know.
Like,
you mentioned that last
CJ
week.
Like CJ does not act like this.
You know what? That's the thing. Like, even listening back, I know I wasn't, and I understand where you come from, but I don't think I was being a douche. But I definitely think I was more aggressive. But I don't. Douche isn't the word I would use. But still,
okay,
it was just
maybe not douche, but you definitely, like, you told us to go fuck ourselves more times in that single episode than you ever have before.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing, and I can tell you that, well, it may not have sounded that way. It all came from that spirit of what we do have, where you're telling me that all the time. Because when you say it to me, I know you're not, just like going back to the clip again, when you tell me, like, with all the times I say it, you think you'd finally go get fucked. I know you're not being serious. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, completely. And that's exactly where that was coming from my end, that night.
Oh,
so
I know that, and we weren't offended. We were just kind of like, we were just like, drink some water. You're like, fuck you. We're like, okay. Like,
so,
all right, bitch, go suffer. like, we tried.
Rico, I got to be very honest with you. I've been tempted to pull the episode down and put out a new cut where it basically stops after the midnight countdown.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I decided to leave it as it is, but that's something I flirted with for a while.
I had a couple people ask me what I did on New Year's, and I was very honest, because I'm always trying to plug the podcast, and I'm like, well, we recorded, and then we kind of like saw my podcast partner have 2 glasses of whiskey and then get really fucking sloppy drunk.
Yeah. And
we spent like the last half hour, 45 minutes of the episode being really concerned, be like, dude, eat nuggets. What are you doing? And they were like, oh, so it was a quiet New Year's? I'm like, no. It was a quiet New Year's compared to the fact that I was just inside doing nothing.
Sure.
Except recording. But everyone else was like, he only got drunk on 2 glasses of whiskey? What the fuck is his tolerance? What? And I was like, no, he does drink. He just doesn't get this hammered this often. I'm like, I think he just got some $40 whiskey that you hadn't tried it or something, right? That was the main thing?
I've had it before. It was a combination of things, Rico. We ate way too early in the day. I hadn't eaten, but by the time that I had started drinking the whiskey, I'm sure I had digested everything. So I was probably basically back to an empty stomach. Like it was just, and then I filled the glass further than you probably should. Like it's just a combination of things, and it just,
Well, the problem, and I can vouch for this, because I've been in your position, like, where you think you got your drinking under control, or where you think, like, oh, I'm going to be fine. And then you sort of over pour, and you're like, oh, shit, this is too much. I've been there. And the problem is especially with whiskey, when you're when you're not sloppy drunk, but when you're, like, more than buzzed, you don't taste the alcohol anymore. So you're drinking pretty...
I never do when it comes to whiskey. Like, I've got such a build-up for that at this point that I can drink it like water. And that's the other thing. Like, I drink... So, another peek behind the curtain is, like, when we do these episodes, I drink a lot of water, Rico. You've seen it. That's a liter of water. Yeah. And I generally go through the whole thing when we're recording.
Unless it's vodka, I'm pretty sure it's water.
Yeah, it's water. Okay. I generally drink a lot of water. I may have a beer while we're recording, but it's usually one. Like, I drank one tonight. I'm fine. You can tell I'm fine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I had one.
Look, for the record, we are not saying CJ has a problem. He just got too far.
Right.
Like,
He just took it too far that night. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing is we all rationalize. I'm like, you know what? It's New Year's fucking Eve. Let him wake up with a hangover for the new year. Like, everyone is not, no one's going to be any different that night.
Right.
The only difference is that you publicly, like, you put it on a fucking podcast.
Right. And it did teach me what I will do next year. That's the difference, you know. So.
Yeah. I mean, you've been buzzed on episodes before. You were buzzed on the Spider-Man one.
Oh, yeah. And I think there's another one that I was buzzed on, too. I think there's been 2 prior to New Year's.
We drank on Ready Player One, I think. We drank for that one.
Did we? It might have been that one.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
That was when I was drinking wine upstairs.
Yes, you were drunker than I was that night.
Yeah, but I was, I mean...
No, you weren't.
Because you can't always tell how drunk I am compared to, like, how sober I am, because I just say the same shit.
Yeah.
Like, I have no fucking filter.
Right.
The only filter I have is on my fucking Camels. Like, that's it.
But
yeah.
But yeah, so to my water point real quick, though, like, so what happened was I started drinking that as quickly as I would drink my water for the episode. You know what I mean? So it hit fast. So it was all of it. I just know I won't do it again next year. You know, we'll do the episode again. We'll do the episode again because that part I really enjoyed doing the clips thing. I hope it was enjoyable to the audience. I know the couple people that I have talked to said, actually, I've gotten positive feedback about the whole thing, including where I fall off the cliff. They said it was entertaining as hell. So
honestly, dude, it's one of our better episodes because it's so fucking funny. But it's weird for me to listen to it because I'm literally listening to us listen to us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
It is the most Inception like fucking episode
right?
I can think of because it's literally us laughing about us making jokes, and it's like, I mean, I listened to it a couple times, and I'm legit laughing out loud to us laughing out loud of me making a joke.
Well, and see, yeah, and that's what was kind of what I was hoping for there, for what that's worth. Like, I was hoping we would get enough laughs out of listening to the old clips that, you know, we'd have a good time. And I think that's exactly what happened. You know, Deb lost her shit like 3 times, you know, so, and in a good way. But she lost her shit like 3 times. I know Steph laughed her ass off, but that's not hard to do, you know.
Yeah, Steph laughed her ass off. Deb almost fucking died when I was doing the whole, like, Jesus, like, fucking thing.
All of the... Yeah,
I had some good jokes that night. I'm not gonna lie.
You did.
I was really impressed.
You also
with myself.
Secured our 4 places in hell, but that's beside the point.
Well, like I said on that episode, like we're all going to hell anyways. I'm an atheist. Steph and Deb are women, and you're an ex-Catholic. So
I'm an ex-Catholic, yeah. So,
speaking of water, when you were talking about water,
yeah,
I saw Aquaman.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get off that, but I just needed to touch on that real quick. And that's the last time, because I know we talked about it on the Clerks episode too, so that's the last time I'm going to bring it up, but I wanted to at least one more time kind of address that.
My review, because I haven't done a rant of it, and I'm still toying with it if I'm going to. It's good. Is it great? No. But it's good like Wonder Woman is good. Like, it's definitely one of the better of the DCEU movies.
Okay, so if we're using Wonder Woman, here's my scale. Wonder Woman's the best. Dawn of Justice is the worst. Where does this thing fit?
It's underneath Wonder Woman. Hello. And which do you find better, Justice League or Man of Steel?
Oh, I forgot about Man of Steel. Yeah, not including Aquaman, if I was going to rank these things out, now this is my personal opinion on my level of enjoyment, I would put Man of Steel at the top.
Squad.
Okay, I'd still put Man of Steel at the top, because I enjoy that more than Wonder Woman, but that's not to say Wonder Woman's a bad movie. And honestly, from a movie quality standpoint, I probably would put Wonder Woman above Man of Steel, but my personal list puts Man of Steel at the top. Mm-hmm. But then it would go into We're not counting any of the Nolan movies, right? We're just talking about
No.
Okay. Yeah, so then it would probably go Justice League, then Suicide Squad, then Dawn of Justice.
I would almost say I think Justice League is worse than Batman v Superman. Because at least Batman v Superman had some great scenes, but as a film itself, it's garbage. It's just incoherent. It doesn't make sense. But
it's too much. That was the problem. They jammed too much into it. It's
too long. Yeah. But Justice League was such a disappointment. You know, like you knew it was going to suck, and like Batman was just.
Now, see, for me, Suicide Squad was the bigger disappointment.
Suicide Squad was also, yeah. Okay, well, based on yours, I can more or less agree. I'm not going to nitpick, which is the worst fucking film. I mean, because they're all kind of bad.
Right.
So if Man of Steel is your favorite.
Well, no, we'll stick with Wonder Woman being the best. We'll stick with Wonder Woman being the best. Yeah.
Okay, so if it's Wonder Woman, Man of Steel, then it's Aquaman.
Fair. Okay. That's fair.
Like, it's, but I will say this, it is visually the best. Like,
okay, I've heard that.
It is so damn colorful and you. I mean, it's a lot in the ocean, but and that's the sort of cool thing about it is that it's also kind of there's some scary parts to it. Like,
okay,
because the guy who directed it is James Wan,
right? Who
created the Saw franchise. I mean, he did the first one.
I think 2. And I'll check, but I think he did the first 2.
I don't think he directed the second one. I think he directed the first one for sure. It was him and Lee Whannell, and they wrote it. Lee Whannell mostly fucking wrote all of them, I think, and directed a couple. But James Wan directed that. He also did Insidious, and he also did The Conjuring, and The Conjuring 2 and Insidious 2. So he's known as a well-known and well-established horror filmmaker. So when it was told that he was going to do Aquaman, I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued. Like, there should be some fucking scary-ass shit underneath the ocean we don't know about. I'd love to see his interpretation on a fucking, Kraken or something. And he delivers. Like, there is some parts where it's like, there are some deep-sea creatures. You're just like, oh, shit. Like,
right.
There are some parts that sort of come across a little bit like Green Lantern.
Okay.
Just to see.
I didn't hate that movie. I didn't hate Green Lantern.
But I'm specifically talking about, like, how you see some Lantern Corps members that are like aliens in the Green Lantern costume?
Right.
You sort of see that. And it just sort of reminded me of. Because they have like Atlantean armor, but they're like fish things. So it was the first thing I thought of. But Momoa is exactly what you think he is. He is exactly how you remember him in Justice League. Just like, my man and bro, and like he's got the fucking like whatever the fuck this symbol is.
Did you like that or didn't like that? That's my question.
I think it's been overplayed. I would like to see. I mean, if I'm being honest, I usually want more traditional. If I had to choose, Maori, Samoan, Hawaiian, type of Aquaman, I would, covered in tribal tattoos and sort of a surfer bra. That's not the first thing I would have gone for. I would have gone more traditional blonde, orange suit, green spandex, Arthur Curry, like you see in the 60s.
Yeah.
I would have maybe tried to combine the two, have the Aquaman with the long blonde beard. That's what I would have probably gone for.
Okay.
It's fine. What were you going to say?
No. You inspired me to something we need to watch together, and I might pause the recording so we can watch it. But I want to let you finish your Aquaman point first.
I will say this. You know who fucking surprised the hell out of me was Nicole goddamn Kidman.
Right, she plays his mother, right?
She plays his mother, and she is as much badass as Gal Gadot was in Wonder Woman.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah. Like,
nice.
Fucks up, like, the Atlanteans in one scene. Like, it's a really just a real quick scene, but you're like, oh shit, Nicole Kidman got some training for this. And
Cool.
I know she's in some new badass movie where she's like her daughter, or like she did some. I don't know if it's coming out or if it already came out, but she made some movie where like it was sort of like her version of Taken.
Oh,
and she
I
looks
think I heard about
grungy.
that. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find it for you. By the way,
It's
real quick, have you heard of this Bird Box challenge?
Being blindfolded and doing stupid shit.
Yeah, not just stupid shit. Someone almost killed someone on like the 405. They were driving on the highway.
Driving blindfolded?
Yes.
Dude, we got some stupid fucking people.
Right?
Well,
All right,
I mean, I'm all for natural fucking selection, but don't kill out the other people. I mean,
Exactly. So what... Are you talking about Boy Erased? Is that the one you're talking about for her?
no,
For Kidman?
it's really recent.
That's recent. It's this year, or well, last year technically. But
What's the other? What else is new?
here, I want to show you my screen for this other thing anyway. So let me just bring you on board here, and you can take a look with me. Can you see it?
Yeah, no, I can see it. Destroyer. That's what it is.
Destroyer.
I
don't
think.
even see that. Oh, down here. That's last year technically, but let's see what the synopsis is. Yeah. A police detective reconnects with people from undercover assignment or distant past to make peace.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, she looks fucked up in this movie, but like
She does.
she kicks ass in Aquaman.
We're going all
Patrick
over the
Wilson.
place real quick. But you know who looked really bad in a movie I just saw? I literally just saw it last night. I saw the Ocean's 8 movie, finally.
Oh. All right.
And Sandra Bullock looks terrible.
What'd you think of the movie?
I actually liked it. I mean, here's I'll give you the no, hear me out, because is it as good as any of the Oceans? Yes, because I think it's better than 12. 12 is bad. 12's hard to watch. But it's not anywhere near the caliber of 11 or 13. Not in a long shot. But it's in the spirit of. And I do want to add it to my collection. I do think I will add it to my collection, but it's not as good by a long shot.
I mean, I can understand your point, but I think it was atrocious. I had a hard time.
Why?
There was no genuine love or appreciation of of the characters for each other.
Agreed.
They were
there's
very
not that.
callous. They were, even when like Matt Damon and Brad Pitt and George Clooney are giving each other shit, you can tell the guy to his back.
Here, that's the thing. So, because I agree with you, I think that between Sandra Bullock and Kate Blanchett, you had it very similar to Danny and Rusty. I think that was close, but you're right. The other ones, not so much. Like, Danny knew everybody except Juan. Or, no, not Juan. What's his name? The little Chinese guy, the grease man. Yen, yeah. He knew all of those guys from previous things that you never saw on camera. You know what I mean? Like, he knew Livingston, he knew the Malloy twins, he knew Saul, you know what I mean? Like, he knew all these people. There was a genuine belief that he had interacted with all of them, I think, except for Linus and Juan, or Yen. You know what I mean?
But he knew Linus's dad.
He knew Linus's dad. So, there was
Which,
that.
by the way, little quick cut, the guy who played Linus's dad died.
Yeah. I know him as Super Dave Osborne, but yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not it. His name's Bob Einstein. I had to think about it for a second.
He's the brother of Albert Brooks.
Yes, he is.
Or he was, because which means Albert Brooks' name was Albert Einstein.
Or is Albert Einstein. I think Brooks might just be like a stage name.
But yeah, go with what you're saying. I'm sorry to drop that.
No. It was a good point to bring up. But yeah, there's not that level of camaraderie, and I agree with you. I think they kind of reach it towards the end of the movie, but it takes getting to the end of that movie. So if they're gonna make a sequel, which I personally haven't heard, then it could be better. You know what I mean? But
I think they were going to, and I think because it was not well critically, they're kind of tank it.
They're holding back. Yeah.
I think Anne Hathaway was playing what she perceives the public thinks of her. She came off very actressy and very kind of shallow, and I think she was just sort of playing a parody of what the public. I think she did an okay job. She did. Pound for pound, the one I enjoyed most in that movie was James Corden. James Corden. Yeah, I thought he was funny. He looked like the only one who was actually having fun in the movie. Everyone else.
No, because you know who else? There was the supporting, more of the quote-unquote supporting cast. I guess they were all considered to be stars, but if we're laying out the cast, there were a couple people I felt like had a good time with it. I can tell you right off, like Rihanna, I thought did a good job. I liked her character. You know, I enjoyed Nine Ball. She was fun.
Can I say, and I'm not the only one who said this. They have got to stop this cliche of having the urban-esque, like, tough black girl from the fucking ghetto be the super fucking, like, the hacker. I'm so sick of it.
Sure. I can understand that.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm not saying because she's black she's less intelligent. I'm saying that Hollywood puts that in every fucking movie. It's like, oh.
They do. You know, no, you're right.
You get the street tough girl. Let's make her the computer girl. Like, shut the fuck up. But I will admit, Rihanna was fine.
I think she did a good job. And then the other one I really enjoyed, I'm trying to find her because it's in a weird order here. I'm trying to find. Okay, I'm gonna sound a lot worse than I mean it, but please help me out. It's the Indian girl who's
Mindy. Is it Mindy Kaling?
I think that's her. Yeah. Now do you say yes? Thank you. There she is. Yep, Mindy Kaling. Yeah. I liked her in her role. I thought she did a really good job too.
I think she did fine. I don't have a problem with her. I just didn't have. There was no.
They tried to make Cate Blanchett and Sandra Bullock too much like Danny and Rusty. That's really what it came down to. They forced that.
Well, I can agree with that. I mean, thankfully they didn't go as far as to have fucking Cate Blanchett eating like Rusty in every scene.
You know that was Brad Pitt's idea. That was his thing. Well, yeah.
That was his thing, and then it became a whole shtick. And then at the end of the first one, he fucking was like, he like threw away his food because he was having heartburn.
Yeah.
But they did do a sort of side joke to that where they took her character, Cate Blanchett's character, and had her change her outfit in every scene. And she's wearing a different outfit in every single scene.
I don't think I know.
But if I'm really being honest, my biggest fucking grip is that Stephanie, spoiler for Ocean's 8, if you want to plug your ears for 1 second. They killed Danny Ocean. Like, he's dead.
No.
And I don't.
No, they didn't. Yes, I know it comes across that way, but there's a very important scene where I think they leave the door open for him to be alive. And I think it gets brushed over very quickly. The people might have missed it.
No, I think they left it possibly open for him to be alive, but now the movie tanked, he's definitely dead. Or he's definitely alive to come back and save it.
Well,
you're free.
Because there's a scene where she's sitting there and she's talking to the wall in the mausoleum, because that's where he is, and says, "I hope you're really in there." And then Ruben comes over and starts talking to her like he's bringing a message from Danny. Do you know what I mean?
I don't remember that. I came off because at the very end, she says to that, I'm trying to choose my words very carefully because Stephanie's here. She says, you would have loved it.
Right, but that's because she's not certain he's in there. But that, you know what I'm saying? It's what I think. I think he's alive. I think he is alive, and I think they left it that way on purpose. Or that he could be alive.
I think if it was going to be successful, he would have showed up. But I don't think it's going to.
Maybe.
I don't think so. I do agree that Sandra Bullock and George Clooney could come off as siblings. I agree that was good casting.
Yeah. I could agree. And I think the casting was fine. I just think there was some issues with the story and the dialogue, you know?
Yeah, I think they need a better story, and like I said, I think they just were really, I don't remember who the comedian. I think it was John Mulaney. He had this bit where he said, "This is why Ocean's 11 would never work with a bunch of women, because if it was 11 women, 9 of them would be talking shit about each other, and they would all act like friends in the same room. And then when it was time to do the heist, everyone would give up and like eat Oreos. I don't remember what the fuck the punchline was, but it was definitely like there was a part where it's like they would just talk shit about each other.
Well, we've obviously spoiled this thing already quite a bit. So
yeah.
I will tell you that my biggest gripe with the movie was the Mark turning to be a part of the crew.
You know what? I saw it coming. I really kind of saw it coming, because that's a reoccurring theme. Pseudo in the Ocean's movies, where like the Mark or a character or someone who, like Linus's dad, who's the agent, like all of a sudden he's in on it. You're like, it's them trying to sweep it from like putting a veil over our eyes, and then but I saw it coming.
But here's the difference between like Linus's dad being a part of it, right? He's been a part of it from the beginning of the scam. Do you know what I mean? Like he's like
sure.
I think she was genuinely the Mark, and then when she found out that she got, hosed or whatever, jumped across. Where like even though that happens with Andy Garcia's character,
Terry
Benedict going into the second one, that's changing movies, so that was okay. Or not second one, the third one. You know what I mean? Like that was okay because it took to the third movie for that to be the case. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so that to me was all right, but in the same movie is when I had a problem with it. Like if they had done like Ocean's 9 or whatever they would have called it, that's not the point. And she had come on board in that movie, I would have been okay with it. But her flip-flopping in the third act was like, no.
I will say I did like one specific part when it's them sort of like done with the heist or whatever, and then like you hear Nancy Sinatra, her song "These Boots Are Made for Walking" or whatever the fuck the song is.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's a nice little throwback. It's right. It's keeping with the Rat Pack Sinatra theme that the original 3 had for the original film in 1961.
They actually use some of the same music for similar scenes, too. Like, if you go back and watch them side by side, there's some of the same actual music in similar scenes in both movies. And I thought that was kind of fun, too. Do you know what I mean? So, like, there's enough connection to the original Ocean's world. And when I say original, I mean the Clooney ones, because I know there's the old Sinatra ones from way back. But,
right.
Well,
there's just one. There's just one Sinatra one.
Right, but that's still the original, so just to differentiate. Right. There's enough love to those movies that I feel like it fits in the universe. If we're ranking Ocean's movies, it's probably third or fourth. If we're saying it's all one gigantic collective. You know what I mean? Like if you're saying this is the fourth one in the scene or in the grouping, it probably goes 11, 13, 12, 8. That's how I would rank them out real quick. But that's how I would do it. If I was ranking, I would do it the exact same way. So it's not the worst piece of shit I've seen by a long shot.
It's not the worst piece of shit, but it was a movie I really wanted to enjoy, and I really was looking forward to.
You had a bit higher expectations than you got, is what it boils down to.
I had more hope.
Right.
I had hope that it was going to be good.
Okay, so getting back to your Aquaman thing, though, there's something I want to show you. So we're going to pause recording, we're going to watch, and we're going to come back. Okay, so what we just watched was 20 deleted scenes that would have totally changed DC movies by Screen Rant on YouTube. I obviously didn't play it on the recording for multiple reasons of copyright infringement, blah, 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 blah. However, if you do want to see what we saw, go check out 20 deleted scenes that would have totally changed DC movies by the Screen Rant on YouTube. If you search, it'll come right up. So, what'd you think, bud? I mean, some of them were but a couple of them had some good points, I think.
I think I agree. Some of them were pretty. Some of them I don't know should qualify because they were on. Like he talked about some Batman v Superman ones, and I don't think they should qualify because they were in the extended cut.
Yeah, they're in
Is what I'm saying.
that Ultimate Edition or whatever it's called. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like he mentioned, like the Suicide Squad ones a couple times, and there was like one about Harley Quinn wielding a baseball bat, and it may be the fact that I did not like the relationship between the two of them in that movie, or it could just be because between Joker and Harley.
Okay.
I just don't know if that was because there was when they showed that when I watched the movie, it seemed like there were flashbacks of the Joker, obviously, but there was also a very present part to it where it's like Joker is texting her, she's texting back, and they're trying to find each other, and then he like sets her free at the end. So, but the scene with him with I may be remembering it all fucked up, but like I thought there was he gives her the baseball bat, or I don't know. I think I was more confused a lot of what the guy was saying, but there were some deleted scenes that I would have found interesting, like believe it or not, the Superman 4, the quest for more money one, where like Superman like is radiation poisoning towards the end, he becomes like old and sickly. I thought that would have been a really interesting scene to see.
Well, and you see part of that in the original cut. He's in a dark room, if you recall. Because I remember when I saw this the first time, and I saw that quote-unquote deleted scene, there is a section in that movie where he's in a dark room, huddled beneath a blanket, because Lois comes over to check on him. And he says he has the flu or some shit, like some bullshit story, obviously, because she doesn't know he's Superman.
I've only seen it once. So I have very little recollection. I remember the big fight between him and
Nuclear Man.
Whatever the fuck. Nuclear Man, which is just stupid.
Yeah.
So I don't remember enough of it to be able to give an honest opinion of it.
Well, the ones that intrigued me the most were the ones about not Suicide Squad, but Justice League. About Steppenwolf and the Green Lantern Corps, and no, those are the ones that's primarily why I wanted you to see it, were those moments that they didn't include.
I think some of those I did know because I did a lot of after I saw Justice League, I was like, I need to see what the fuck could have been and what happened and what was deleted and what was not deleted and whatnot. So I think I remember there was a possibility of a Green Lantern. See, I definitely knew all the Cyborg should have been cut, like the football playing and everything. I remember that.
The guy who narrated the video we just watched said something about maybe the character would be more relatable if they had left that in or something to that effect. And I have to disagree. I actually thought Cyborg was one of the more positive parts of Justice League.
I think I agree he was one of the more popular parts, but I would have liked to have seen more of him because he was definitely one of the more interesting characters that they didn't expand upon.
Well,
sure.
Yeah.
Well, he's connected to the Mother Box.
Yes.
And I felt like they didn't really do a good job of expanding how he is connected. Like, he is a literal Mother Box cyborg.
Yeah.
Like, he exists because of the Mother Box. And I'd like to have known how he has this connection. I would have liked to have gone in the cybernetic brain of him to know his thoughts and feelings.
Right.
Essentially, in a weird way, he's kind of like the redhead step brother of Steppenwolf.
Yeah. I mean, but conversely, in the same list, they do an extended part about Barry Allen and the Flash. And I got to be honest with you, as much as I like the Flash, the character, there's no amount of extended scene that would have made me enjoy that version of the Flash.
No, I didn't give a fuck about him when he was like visiting his dad, played by the fucking
Billy Crudup.
What's his fuck? Billy Crudup. Yeah.
Crudup,
I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, it was bad. Well, I mean, and we've talked about it before, so I'm not going to beat it to death tonight. But like, they really should have brought in Grant Gustin.
They really should have. I do find this interesting because I'm pretty positive that Iris West is not African American originally in the comics.
No, she's not.
I found it interesting that like he adopted the same thing of having Iris be African American in the deleted scene they did on the show. I thought that was like, okay, all right, well, that's more canon that she's black.
They also adopted him being a brunette because in the comic books, Barry Allen's a blonde.
He's a blonde,
They also made that change with changing Barry Allen. And so I'm okay with changes. Like, I remember when I watched the Flash show and realized that they made Iris African American, I was more put off about Barry being brunette than I was about Iris being black. You know, like...
Yeah, I didn't care too much. I was like, oh, fuck it, whatever. My whole thing was, if they're a better actor, let them be the better actor. I don't care what.
Sure. And again, as far as him being a brunette over a blonde, like on a level of 1 to 10, it was like a 2 at worst. I mean, like, it didn't really faze me, but it is something I noticed. You know what I mean? So
that's sort of how you asked me about Aquaman earlier, because like that's the same thing. Originally, Aquaman looks like he looks like a fucking Hitler Youth in the water, if we're being honest.
And that's I'm actually okay with Momoa as like we've talked about this in general. Like, I'm going to expand out for just a second here. Like, we've talked about different roles, like Michael Clark Duncan being Kingpin in the Daredevil movie. Like, that one didn't fit for me. It still doesn't. Like, you gave me a compelling argument for it. I remember the argument, but it still just doesn't fit for me. You know, now, obviously, especially after seeing D'Onofrio. Do you know what I mean? And it's not because it's not because I think Michael Clark Duncan's a bad actor. I think he's a great actor. I've loved him in several roles I've seen him in before he passed away. But that one just didn't work for me. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, so it's just, and part of it comes down to personal preference, you know? So, but I just thought, I remember because I watched this list the other day, and it made me think of you and something, just something I thought you should see, because I was curious about your input on some of them. So.
Well, you keep reminding me of Aquaman, because there's parts of it that is sort of similar to what we were just talking about.
Okay.
Like, Patrick Wilson plays Ocean Master. He's the bad guy of the movie.
I'm trying to think who Patrick Wilson is. I'll have to look him up.
Patrick Wilson is the guy from the Conjuring movies. He was in the first 2 Insidious movies.
Yeah,
he was in Lake Tennis. He was in Hard Candy. He's fucking good in Hard Candy.
Okay, you want some irony? Because just
he's Night Owl.
He's what?
He's Night Owl in Watchmen.
Oh shit! He lost a lot of weight for that, or since then. But that's not where I was gonna go. He's also in the A-Team, the movie that we talked about earlier. He's in that A-Team movie that I mentioned. Yeah,
Oh well, I'll be damned. So he plays. Yeah. He is very much the Atlanteans. Are usually they look very blonde, very pale Hitler kind of looks. Which is why Nicole Kidman was perfectly cast, because she looks very she looks that. And Patrick Wilson, even though they dyed his hair blonde, and he's not like the Thanos of the DCEU in terms of like he's a relatable villain or you can understand him, but you kind of can. He's not to the point where it's like he's not flashy like Thanos, and you don't really give a. I don't know. The movie Aquaman comes off very racist in a very interesting point of view.
Okay, how so? Because
he plays the younger, pure Atlantean half brother to Aquaman.
Wait, so again, I'm sorry.
He plays the younger, pure blooded Atlantean half brother to Aquaman.
Okay.
So to spoil a little bit, Aquaman's mom, in the beginning of the film, runs away from an arranged marriage and meets Aquaman's dad, played by Tamara Morrison, who I really do like him. He played Jango Fett in the Star Wars prequels. He played all the clones.
Okay. I like him.
So
I agree with you.
I like him. He's always good. I still think if they make a fucking follow-up sequel to Boba Fett, he just needs to play Boba Fett.
Well, they are making that Mandalorian movie or whatever.
It's a show, but that has nothing to do with Boba Fett. So it's a separate Mandalorian thing.
Okay, well, for my ego, he is a Mandalorian, right? Technically, Boba Fett, even if this show had nothing to do with him, he himself is a Mandalorian, right?
But Mandalorians aren't just Fetts. They're not clones. Mandalorians are other...
I get that, but I'm saying that armor he wears, that's part of the Mandalorian thing, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I'm asking. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. But, so they have it, she shows up on shore, he saves her, he's like the keeper of the lighthouse on the shore, and they fall in love and give birth to fucking, baby Aquaman. And then the Atlantans find her and take her back. And she goes back to her arranged marriage, has another kid, which is Patrick Wilson's character. So he knows of this other possible older half human, half Atlantan brother of his. And he is very oh, you half-breed, you mongrel. They call him they call Aquaman a mongrel. They're very racist against humans. And the fact that Jason Momoa has a very scruffy, long-haired, bearded, unkempt kind of look. He's got tribal tattoos. He doesn't look pure and white like they do. He looks right. He looks, like he is indigenous. So it's a really interesting point of view to see pure ocean dwellers be racist against humans. So it's really a fucking interesting. But the guy makes a great claim because he wants to have war with us, the land dwellers, because in his own mind's eye, we've been polluting the ocean for hundreds of years. So he's
wrong.
We brought the war. He's not wrong, which is why I'm saying you can kind of really see his point in a very Thanos-esque kind of way, where he's they brought the war to us eons ago. They've been polluting our oceans. They've been killing our whales. Fuck them. It's time we brought the war to them.
Right.
So in that aspect, the story is not just meh. It's actually kind of compelling if you kind of get through all the visual, in your face kind of shit, and you hear what the message is and you kind of focus on it. There is a deeper storyline to it. A lot of it is very predictable and a lot of it is very generic. I don't want to be king. Okay, I've got to be king to stop my younger brother. It's kind of Shakespearean in a way.
Right.
And it's not what I was worried it was going to be was it was going to be too funny because I thought it was going to be sort of a Thor Ragnarok with Aquaman.
Okay.
But
it's not that.
It's not. It's not like that. There is a laugh out loud moment that I really had where, Aquaman is at a bar with his dad, they're drinking, and then this group of dudes come up like, hey man, are you that fish dude that everyone talks about? And you can kind of get this impression there's going to be a huge brawl, and you can see like Aquaman's dad just kind of is like, go ahead, kick their ass. And Aquaman stands up and breathes heavy. He's like, yeah, what about it? And the guy says, well, can we take a photo with you? And pulls out a photo, it pulls out a phone, can we take a photo with you? And you can see okay. Just kind of they put his hand on his shoulder, don't touch me. He's like, all right, sorry about that. And then they have this weird pose. And it shows a series of poses of them getting more and more friendly and getting more and more drunk and having a good time. I was like, okay, that's a really fucking funny part.
And that's
that was unexpected. It was really funny. That was good.
And that's kind of a throw towards Ragnarok a little bit because there's that scene when they go to find Odin and the two girls come up to Thor and they're like, can we take your picture? And they do a selfie and whatever. But it's not the same thing exactly, but it's certainly similar.
It was like if they were like, hey, are you that god of thunder? He's like, yes, what about it? You want to stop some shit. He's like, no, dude, we just want an autograph.
By the way, one of Deb's favorite parts of that entire movie, not to change completely, because I have two other things I want to talk about before we get done, but one of her favorite parts of that entire movie is towards the end of the interaction with between Thor and Doctor Strange. Mm-hmm. And he's about to leave, and he goes, don't forget your umbrella. And he puts his hand, because the umbrella is actually the hammer. So he puts his hand out, and he's waiting, and you hear a bunch of shit breaking as the hammer's flying through the Sanctum Sanctorum to get to him. And you hear shit breaking and falling over and everything. And Thor's just kind of nodding his head, waiting around, and he's like, sorry. You know, Deb just loves that part. And it's a funny part, I agree, but she cracks up when that part comes on.
It is a good part. I've definitely talked about my opinion of Thor Ragnarok a lot. And the only reason we're talking about it now is because I use it as a basis of comparing it to Aquaman. Sure. Just like I was hoping it was not going to be as forced comedy, like, because that's a thing that movies sort of fall under. Like, they try to make it as funny as possible to sort of distract you from the plot. So if you're thinking, I'm laughing, I must be having a good time, therefore this must be a good movie. No. There are a lot of great, funny fucking movies that are terrible. If you take out all the jokes,
they're terrible.
It's a very one-dimensional fucking plot. Like, honestly, if you take all the jokes out of Thor Ragnarok, it's not a very good movie.
Yeah, you're probably right. I will say this, though. I am quickly coming of the opinion that Doctor Strange might be the best character in the MCU. Because there's not a moment he's on camera in any time that I've seen him where I don't find it incredibly intriguing.
Is that because it's Cumberbatch?
I don't think so. I maybe, but I was not like a huge Cumberbatch fan going into it. Like, I hadn't seen Sherlock till after Doctor Strange, so it's not like, you know.
I don't know, man. I think you are. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you because I definitely like Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. I would not have picked Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, and I said that before.
You did,
but I did. But is he one of the better characters? Sure. Is he the best of the MCU? I don't think so.
He's getting there, and despite the fact that we're probably going to lose some heavy hitters at the end of Endgame, and I don't think he's going to be one of them. I think he's going to be the person who takes over that mantle for, like, a Tony, in terms of, like, that smart ass on camera. You know what I mean? Because I think Tony's dead. I think we're losing all the original Avengers by the end of this movie. So
Tony for sure, because Downey's contract is done with this next one.
And $55+ million per movie's, for as much money as the House of Mouse has, that's probably too much for them to keep paying.
Well, that's why they're not doing Johnny Depp with Pirates of the Caribbean anymore, because they actually are saving $90 million to not bring him back as Jack Sparrow.
But he's also an insurance risk that I don't think that
he RDJ is now. He wasn't a couple years ago, but he is now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think RDJ is that same insurance risk, is kind of my point. You know, he was at the beginning when they did Iron Man 1, but he's not now. You know,
I think Favreau had to
he fought tooth and nail. Yeah.
I think he also had to take a cut, or he had to pay part of his salary to RDJ to ensure that RDJ got hired. Yeah,
I heard that. I don't know how true it is, but I've heard that.
If you're talking about the new mantle, because look, new roster of Marvel characters, you have Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is what I've been hearing and reading numerous times. She's going to be probably the new leader of the Avengers.
That would make sense.
Which, if they're saying that, then the movie Captain Marvel is probably going to be fucking nuts.
Oh, I think it's already nuts.
But I think they're trying to they're going to probably showcase that we should give a shit as much as possible. I still think in some way they're going to kind of shove her in. Like, because we haven't grown with her.
Well, no, and here's the thing. Like, if I didn't think that movie was going to be integral to understanding what happens in Endgame, I wouldn't be going to see it. But I guarantee you I will go see Captain Marvel in the theater only for the simple fact that I feel like if you don't see it, Endgame is not going to make as much sense.
You're telling me you wouldn't see Captain Marvel if you didn't think it was integral to Endgame. You're telling me you would skip a Marvel movie?
I wouldn't see it in a theater. I'd buy it,
Oh,
but I
you
wouldn't
wouldn't
go
be in theater. Okay, all right.
Correct.
Well, I still call you on bullshit. I think Steph would see it in theaters.
No, because I wasn't going to go see Black Panther in theaters until I was told you had to see that to understand Infinity War, which turned out not to be the case, but someone told me that whose opinion I value and still value. They just saw it differently than I did. But when they said that, but I wasn't going to go see Black Panther in a theater, but I was definitely going to get it and watch it. You know, just like I did with Doctor Strange. I didn't see Doctor Strange in a theater. I had no desire to see Doctor Strange in a theater. You know,
are there movies that you, no matter what, will have to see in theaters? Like,
yes.
Like the new Star Wars?
The new Star Wars, Endgame, Captain Marvel, because I feel how integral it is. Off the top of my head of new stuff that's coming, yeah, those are ones that would jump out at me. Generally Mission Impossible, although it didn't happen with Fallout, but generally that's a rule of mine.
Did you see Fallout yet?
Yeah, I bought it, and we talked about it.
We did? Okay.
Yeah.
I remember. I can't remember if we did. So, like a new roster, Captain Marvel is probably going to be the headliner. I think Doctor Strange will probably take over the Thor role. Because I got to imagine Thor would probably be, not die,
but gone.
But gone. I think he's taking a break. Maybe finally fucking rekindle a romance with fucking Jane Foster. The other possibility is maybe Valkyrie takes over the Thor role.
Yeah, that would make sense. I could see that.
I think Hulk is staying.
Thor's a female in the comic books, so it's certainly possible.
Jane Foster is Thor.
Oh, is it Jane Foster? I didn't know that. I just knew it was a female. I would agree
Which I
with
thought
you.
Was pretty fucking lazy writing, if I'm being honest.
That's probably true. I would agree with you. Valkyrie would be a better fit. So yeah.
And also because Natalie Portman doesn't want to do it anymore. Natalie Portman does not give a fuck about Marvel.
There's that too. But by the way, there's another list that we're not going to watch tonight, but there's another one where they talk about why Ed Norton left the MCU. But it's so all over the place that I don't believe half of it. So
yeah, I don't even believe half of what he said. Like at the roast of
right, and that's part of what they cite. So I agree.
So I don't. I'm trying to think. I think Ant-Man would probably be the new. I mean, because he's sort of part of the original lineup. I would say he's still current with the new one.
I think Ant-Man hangs around. I think Sam the Falcon hangs around, but he either ends up.
Falcon would probably. Yeah.
He either takes over the Cap role, or he stays as Falcon and Bucky ends up as a Cap. Because I think that's certainly a possibility, because the Winter Soldier does become Captain America in the books. So
does Falcon.
Right, no, I know that. But I'm saying I think they would go towards Bucky before they would go towards Sam in the movies.
I don't really envision Bucky being as Captain America-esque, as patriotic.
I mean,
not the character Bucky or Winter Soldier in general. I'm talking about this interpretation.
Right. No, I get you. I did love seeing in the Endgame trailer, and spoilers, people, but this thing's been out for a while now. You had called this. You called this, so I'm giving you the credit where it's due. But you see Ronan,
and
they
don't call him Ronan.
Well, we don't know that yet, do we?
But Hawkeye's wearing a fucking ninja-esque outfit.
Yeah, and his head shaved on the side and stuff.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, can I throw you a theory that I had about why that happens? At least in the movies. Like, I'm not sure why it happens in the book, but a theory of why it's going to happen in the movie, why he goes through such a drastic change.
Yeah.
His wife and the 3 kids get snapped. All 4 of them just gone.
Oh, that's if I can fucking Bernardin you,
Please.
I think I've got like, I agree with that idea for sure, but I'm going to expand on it.
Sure.
What I think happened is, because actually Steph sort of predicted this, or this is Steph's theory, that they didn't just get snapped. What if he was driving like in a car, or like the wife was driving a car, and then the snap happens, and only two of them get snapped. So his wife and like his daughter. I don't remember how many.
He had a son and a daughter in Ultron, but they had a third one on the way that I think was born at the end.
Right. So what if two of the kids get snapped and the wife, then the other one dies of the car accident collision?
Or any variation of that, but I get where you're going.
And this is my contribution, is the impact makes him go partially deaf.
Right, which you said he's deaf in the book, so that could, but that's if he's in the car. Like, my theory is he's not in the car. See, my theory is there, and look, I'm not discrediting yours, I'm just giving you my version of what I would think. They're on the farmhouse or whatever, just, he's enjoying retired life or whatever, or solitary, or not solitary, but, house arrest.
Solitary.
No, but house arrest, because remember, both him and Ant-Man agree to house arrest deals to get out of the raft.
Yeah.
And he's there, and he can't leave, and suddenly his whole family just dissolves in front of him. And he just goes insane, basically. You know?
I forgot about that. So he was under house arrest, so he just said, fuck the government, and he just became a ninja.
Right.
Okay.
Now, if the timeline lays out the way it did with Ant-Man and the Wasp, and to what you were saying about Endgame being potentially 5 years after the snap, has that been confirmed? I don't think that's been confirmed yet, right? Okay.
I don't think it's been confirmed.
Right. So, that aside, you know, even if it fits the Ant-Man and the Wasp timeline, which is confirmed because it's out there, the 2 years have already passed. Unless he got a longer term than Scott Lang did. Because Scott Lang had the 2-year term that did end by the end of that movie. So.
Yeah, I don't think Hawkeye did any different crimes that he had a longer sentence than Ant-Man.
I don't either, but I'm just saying, for the sake of him might still being on house arrest, that would be the only way that would be the case.
Right. I think there might be a time jump, but I think it'll be later in the film of Endgame, because there's no way Tony Stark
you're talking about?
Yeah, I think they're going to do some time travel bullshit, because there's no way Tony Stark is in space for 5 fucking years, you know, slowly starving of food and water for 5 years. I think it's like a week.
I would give you a month, but let's not split hairs. Yeah. So.
Steph just showed me this really fucking funny meme. This has got to be from Agent Carter. So there's a thing of Agent Carter where it shows Howard Stark. No, it's Captain America, the First Avenger, where it shows young Howard Stark giving the shield, the vibranium shield before it's been painted, to Cap. And the quote is, "Hydra's not going to attack you with a pocket knife." And then it shows underneath it Captain America fighting Bucky in the Winter Soldier movie. And he says, "Damn it, Howard," as like, Winter Soldier's attacking you with a fucking pocket knife.
There's another thing I saw online that we're not going to watch either, where they talk about the connection between Howard Stark and the whole universe. It was kind of interesting.
You know what? I just remember there's a fucking theory that Maddie just dropped on Facebook.
Oh, Matty Granger?
Yeah.
What'd he say?
He said, because you know of the character Adam Warlock.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about him, but I know he exists, and I know he's, like, superhuman and like, created and shit, right? Like, he's not, like, a person.
Right. And
he's a la Vision. He's similar in that regard, that he's created like Vision was.
I'm trying to find his post so I can read it, and I don't think he's going to be I don't think he's gonna be upset that I can quote this because it's a really interesting theory that I want to go with.
Here, I can pull it up for the screen where you can see it.
Well, I'm already bringing it up.
Okay.
Okay. This is his theory. We're giving credit to our good friend Matty Granger. This is his Avengers Endgame theory. Quote, last night, Mikey, meaning his brother Mikey Granger, and I got talking about how the Infinity Gauntlet comic could have an impact on the final Avengers picture. Since it's way too late in the series to introduce someone as huge as Adam Warlock to the story, it stands to reason that Vision is the only logical character to take on that role.
I've heard that.
It makes sense. Yes. It makes sense that having been a part of the Mind Stone for so long, that he would now be able to see what Thanos is planning at all times. Also, Vision is equally as cold as Warlock in that he would sacrifice as many Avengers as it takes to vanquish him. By coming back from the, quote, dead, his current allegiance could easily be questioned by the surviving Avengers, much like Warlock's was in the comic. To that end, it's also possible that the threat of Nebula possessing the gauntlet, the possibility of Hela being death, Hela from Ragnarok,
Right.
and Gamora seeing into his true soul, that Thanos could join the Avengers for a time to help play out his ultimate defeat at the hands of Vision. The Avengers series could therefore end with Vision, referred to as the best of Tony, Bruce, Jarvis, etc., possessing the Infinity Gauntlet, and thereby the ultimate Avenger becomes an omnipotent god. And go. That's what Matty Granger says. I mean...
I just had a mini anxiety attack. I'm just letting you know.
Right? Like, can you imagine if that is how they're going? Like, think of it this way. Jarvis is Tony's more or less
Moral
closest
compass.
confidant.
Yeah.
And then ends up being one of the most god-like villains.
Can I be sappy for a split second?
Yeah.
I want a happy ending. Like, yes, I know we're getting
Want a
death.
happy ending?
Like, no, I'm serious. I know we're getting death. I know that's going to happen. I know that's inevitable. But at the end of that movie, I want everything to be resolved, and I want the world to be kind of spinning in a positive direction.
I think there's going to be a huge shakeup, but we'll be satisfied. I think we'll cry, but I think it's going to be a melancholy, like Tony's, like maybe Tony dies, but he like maybe has like impregnated fucking Pepper. So,
Right.
like there's another Stark along the way coming along or something.
Well, look, I'm gonna make an analogy, and it's especially considering who owns all these properties at this point. It's gonna sound like I'm trying to force something, but I'm really not. Infinity War was essentially the Empire Strikes Back of these movies. I want Endgame to be Jedi, where at the end you've got everyone celebrating with fucking, little teddy bears dancing around them. Like, I want,
You want the ghosts of Quicksilver sort of just hanging in the background and waving at
Loki,
Wanda and Loki.
Yeah.
Okay. I can get into it.
No, but no, we're making a joke around some fun, but in all seriousness, like, I want that happy, uplifting ending to that movie. Like, we can go through the feels to get there. I'm fine with that. But at the end of the day, I want that uplifting end of it. So
that in 30 years, J.J. Abrams can add a sequel and, like, expand on it?
Yes, that's exactly it. No,
Have, like, Tony Stark's grandson be, like, all, wimpy and pissed off and kind of neo-Nazi-ish and call himself the War Machine in a really fucked up New Age, like,
see, that's
metal
where you
way.
got it wrong. It would be Cap's kid. But anyway, that's not the point.
Okay.
No, but seriously, like, that's, I want like I want the end to, like you said, to feel satisfying, but I also want the feels to be gone by the time it's over. By the time we hit that end, I want the feels. The only way I want the feels, I'll throw you a curveball. The only way I want the feels at the end of that movie is when the credits are done, no post-credit scene, and it says, in loving memory, Stan Lee, year, birth and death year with his picture. That's the only way I want the sad feels by the end of that movie. Other than that...
You know what would be a really fucking happy moment and scene for me would be is fucking Captain America finally losing his virginity.
Okay.
Give him, let him fucking have sex with Agent 13, whatever the
whatever her name is, yeah.
Whatever the fuck, Peggy. No, Sharon Carter.
Yeah, it's Peggy's niece, though. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. We've done enough on the Marvel, but because there's two other quick things we need to get to, and then we need to call it a night. But so they confirmed on Friday, Coming to America 2 is happening.
Pay your rent, motherfucker, or your rent is due, motherfucker.
Your rent is due, motherfucker. Yeah, Eddie Murphy confirmed. It is happening. They're trying to get everybody back, including James Earl Jones, Arsenio Hall, the whole bit. And apparently this story is going to center around Akeem having an illegitimate son somewhere.
I heard they tried making... There was a possible... I don't know if this is the same movie, but they were trying to make called Coming to Africa, where it was the reversal, where it was like... It may be the same thing, where it's Akeem has like an illegitimate son or something, or he has a son who wants to travel to Africa. Basically, it's Black Panther. Is really what it is.
Yeah, that's what you beat me to it, because that's what I was going to say. This movie, here's first off, I love Coming to America. I think the first one's a great movie. It makes me laugh every time I watch it. And I've seen it more times than I can count, because it's just, to me, a great movie. But one of the things that makes that movie so good is John Landis, who directed the thing.
Of course. Yeah.
It's not John or his son doing this one. It's a guy named Craig Brewer, who I've never heard of, so I had to look him up. But apparently he did a couple episodes of Empire. He did Boomerang, the TV movie.
He did Black Snake Moan, which I really liked.
Okay. But is that a comedy movie?
It's got some funny.
Right. But Coming to America is a fucking comedy.
It is... It's about as much of a comedy as like Pulp Fiction is. Let me put it that way.
No. It's much more of a comedy than Pulp Fiction.
What is?
Oh, I'm talking about Coming to America. You're talking about this other movie? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Black Snake Moan is as much of a comedy as Pulp Fiction, where it's like it's dark but it's really funny.
Well, okay, but that's not what I want in Coming to America, or a sequel to Coming to America.
Well, I don't know if this guy's just live. I mean, he did Boomerang, the TV movie. Okay, I thought it was the other Boomerang.
No, and he did Footloose. The remake.
See, I mean, dude, I don't know.
I think this is going to be super dark, and that worries me.
Yeah, I have no idea. Look, I'll wait for a trailer. I don't like the title. Let me put it that way.
Look, it's Coming to America with a 2 in the middle.
I don't like it. I don't like that. Okay.
That I don't have a problem with.
I think you should have been Coming to Africa, or something. Coming. I don't like it when they shove a number in the middle of a fucking word title like they did with Fantastic.
Well, here's the thing.
I don't like that.
I think that based on Black Panther, they're probably having to make some changes. So if the original concept was what you were saying, I think they probably feel like they have to make some changes to it. So
I think the biggest change is they shouldn't make it. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, I listen, I agree with you there. They shouldn't make it either. But if they're going to make it, then that's probably why.
This is going to be the Zoolander 2 of the 2019.
Well, considering I can't stand Ben Stiller, I never saw the first one. But anyway, I also, look, we're a movie show to a degree. So we can't not acknowledge the fact that the Golden Globes happened a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Actually, I think the week we were recording our Clerks episode was the night it
Yeah.
aired. So last week. So I feel like we don't need to go through all the categories because some of them I could give a flying fuck about, to be honest with you. But I think some of the highlights we should talk about. So, Best Picture goes to Bohemian Rhapsody.
Which I didn't see it. I wanted to see it. I heard it was not as accurate or as faithful as it should be. But it beating Black Panther, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so I have a guy that I know who knows movies probably better than you do, Rico, and you know I respect your knowledge base. And this dude probably puts you to shame.
That's pretty fucking.
It's hard to do.
Those are fighting words, buddy.
It's not meant to be fighting words, but the guy knows his shit, and he follows a lot of this stuff more than you do, because you could give a fuck about this awards crap, and he follows that stuff too, and
for the most part,
yeah. So he's right about this because I've kept track enough where if you win the Golden Globe, you're not getting the Oscar. It's almost a guarantee.
Really?
He's been right more times than he's not. It's not locked in every time, but he's right more times than he's not.
You're right, because Stallone won the Globe for Creed, but didn't get the Oscar. Okay, you're right. This guy is right.
And yeah, and it happens. It's not just Stallone. It happens a lot. So there's been a lot of buzz about Bohemian Rhapsody and Rami Malek getting Oscar nods, and they're going to get the nod. They're going to get the nomination. There's no question about that. But because they won the Golden Globe, that automatically puts something else in the slot to get the best movie. And the number one contender is A Star is Born. Because they got snubbed like crazy at the Golden Globes. Because they had like 9 nominations, more than anybody else. And they didn't, I think they won 1, if not 0. So, the thought...
Did you see A Star is Born?
I have not, no.
Okay.
Did you?
I did not. I was curious. Because, like, I was reading a lot of people talk about, like, how it is actually, like, it wasn't just like a campaign where, like, people were, like, trashing movies, like, saying that A Star is Born is so fucking amazing that fuck all these other movies. They're all like, I was hearing people were saying this is actually, like, legit amazing.
No, I've heard that. And the thing that the one caveat I keep hearing to that as well is that for a director's first movie, because it's Bradley Cooper's first directing job, you know. So, going back to the Golden Globes themselves, Bohemian Rhapsody wins the movie of the year. Best Motion Picture Musical Comedy actually went to Green Book, which is a movie I'm very interested in seeing, actually. I do want to see that movie.
Curious.
What's that?
I'm curious.
I saw some trailers for it when I went to see Bohemian Rhapsody, and it really does seem intriguing to me. And you know how much I love music. So the story behind it is really what I'm kind of intrigued by. But just as some of the Vice is another one I want to see. I actually want to see Crazy Rich Asians, which was another nominee in this category.
I heard that at work.
Well, I heard it was good. Everyone I've heard talk about it said it was good.
I heard it's cute. I haven't seen it, but I hear it's cute.
And then I want to see the Mary Poppins Returns because I'm a big fan of the first one. But I'm not having high expectations for it.
You know what? I'm gonna wait like a little bit before I see that, because at work we have been promoting the fact that we have Mary Poppins. So the owner has been putting on the big screen TV Mary Poppins on a loop and Saving Mr. Banks, the movie about the making of Mary Poppins with Emma Thompson.
That's a really good movie too. I like that movie a lot.
Yeah, but I've seen it 30 times in the past 2 fucking weeks.
Sure.
So I could give less of a fuck about Mary Poppins Returns right now. Like, I'll see it and I want to see it. I really did want to see it. And then my boss just fucking oversaturated with chimchimaries and fucking spoonfuls of fuck. Like, I cannot, I could give so much less of a shit right now. So if
funny.
it wins, fucking good for you. If it fucking doesn't, fucking, I don't care.
It's not gonna win in that category.
It's
going
no.
into the they don't do this musical or comedy category at the Oscars. So I think Vice and Green Book will be part of the potential 10 Best Picture nominees because you can have up to 10 now.
Oh yeah.
So I think that'll be part of that. Best performance by an actress went to Glenn Close, with Nicole Kidman, Rosamund Pike, Lady Gaga, and Melissa McCarthy as your also other nominees. I think that's going to Gaga. Just again, going on my theory. I think
you think Gaga is going to win
the Oscar. Yes, I do. I think she'll get the Oscar out of it. Yeah.
I would probably put my vote on Melissa McCarthy if I'm being honest.
Okay.
It looks like she's doing a good job in that Can You Forgive Me movie.
Okay.
Where she plays the writer.
Right. So then we get down to the Best Actor, and you got Rami Malek, who won for Bohemian Rhapsody as Freddie Mercury. And I got to tell you, man, he did an amazing job. So despite what you might think of the way I know you haven't seen it yet, but despite what you might think of the way the movie went, his portrayal of Freddie Mercury was really good.
No, he'll win. He'll win.
What's that?
I think he'll win.
Well, for the Oscar?
No, I misunderstood what you're saying. I know. I'm glad he won for. He's going to be nominated.
Oh, definitely going to be nominated. But here's the interesting thing. So here's my theory, and the reason we're talking about some of this is because, and we've mentioned this on a previous episode, we're going to live do the Oscars, right? We said we were going to do that, and I still want to do that. One of the things I'm going to do leading up to it is I'm going to email you a ballot, and we're going to fill out our ballots for what we think is going to happen announcement. Because it'll be fun to see how right we are.
Well, we do that at the video room. We have a contest, so I could just take the same sheet.
Okay, then you do that, yeah.
Yeah. If we do it this year.
So Bradley Cooper will probably also get the nod for the Oscar, right? Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. He's also going to get the nod for Best Director. Uh-huh. And I think they're only going to give him one of them. I don't think they're going to give him both. What's that?
They might. They might give him the Best Director because...
Well, that's fine, but then if they do that, they're not going to give him the Best Actor. That's my point.
No, they're not going to. But they do love to give debut first Oscars. Like they gave it to Jordan Peele for Get Out, for Best Original Screenplay.
For screenplay, not for director. See, director's a different category. You're right. I'm not... You're right in general, Rico. I'm not arguing against you. See, here's my thought. I think he won't... One or two things will happen. He won't get director, but he'll get best movie or vice versa. They're not... Because that's the other thing.
They're going to pull an Affleck?
Well, because that's a common thing with the Oscars, too. It's very rare that the director and the movie get the same thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, usually, whoever doesn't get director gets the movie and vice versa. Generally, it's not a hard set rule, but it tends to happen that way.
You know, if I'm really putting my money and my chips on someone, I think it might be Willem Dafoe, because Willem Dafoe has been doing consistently. He's always working, and he doesn't get that many nominations. So if he's nominated, he might win. If I'm being honest.
I mean, it's possible. I think... See, but then you got Christian Bale from Vice. I think he's going to have a shot at it, too. Because, again, they've got these... In the Golden Globes, they've got them separated between musical and comedy and regular straight acting. They're not going to do that with the Oscars. So they're all going to be in the same talent pool. So...
Right. It's a tough decision.
The Oscar is going to be tough, but I want to give some more love to winners. So Christian Bale did win the Golden Globe, and the fact that he won the Golden Globe means he probably won't get the Oscar. It's the same kind of concept.
Did you catch who he thanked in his acceptance speech?
Didn't he thank W? No,
he thanked Satan for giving him the inspiration to play Dick Cheney.
I did hear that. Yeah. That's funny.
Pretty funny.
It's true, too. Anyway, Regina King, winner for Best Female in a Supporting Role.
You know, she's great. I haven't seen her in anything recently, but I've always liked her in movies.
I agree. But she was up against some tough competition. You got Amy Adams, Emma Stone, Rachel Weisz. The only person I've never heard of is this Claire Foy. I'm not familiar with her, but
Claire Foy is the new girl with the dragon tattoo. Remember they made another one recently?
Yeah.
So
The girl in the spider web or something like that.
Yeah, whatever. I want to see it. I didn't end up seeing it. I've heard it's not as good as the other one.
Yeah, it didn't look as good, to be fair. So, actor in a supporting role went to I can't say his name. I know who he is.
I got it.
Thank you.
Mahershala Ali.
Yeah. And I like him. I've seen him in a few things prior. He's actually. Do you know the show True Detective that was on HBO?
Yeah, I saw the first season. I loved the first season.
First season's amazing. Yeah.
I saw the beginning of the second season and got really bored, and I know he's going to be in the third season. I really want to see that one.
It debuts tonight, actually.
Did you see Moonlight?
I did not. No.
Dude, you should see Moonlight just solely for him. He is amazing in Moonlight.
I've heard that. Yeah. And didn't he?
He won his Oscar for Moonlight.
He did win one. So, you know what? The fact that he's got one, he's not, and now he's got the Golden Globe, he's not going to get that Oscar. I don't know who else.
That doesn't always happen. Tom Hanks won it consecutively.
Yeah, but that's Tom Hanks, and I hate to say it, but name recognition is a thing. And that's not so shot at this guy, but Tom Hanks is Tom Hanks.
But Tom Hanks was still not the Tom Hanks that we had back in 93 and 94. Agreed.
So
Philadelphia, he earned his Oscar, and then for Forrest Gump, it's Tom Hanks.
Well, and it's
and
just
still did a good job, but it was not the same caliber of Philadelphia.
Well, and it's like Leonardo DiCaprio. He didn't really deserve it for The Revenant, but it was more of a body of work award at that point. So
yeah. Okay, can I just say, I don't think I've seen a single. Scroll down a little bit so I can pronounce his name properly. Timothée Chalamet. Because I know it's not Timothy. It's pronounced Timothée.
Okay.
Or something because the French pronunciation is Timothée.
Sure.
I've never seen him in a fucking movie. And I've never seen so many fucking people, especially girls, go nuts for. I'm like, who's the new fucking it guy? And they're like, oh, Timothée. I'm like, who the fuck is Timothée? What the fuck is Timothée?
Well, I got to be honest with you, in this supporting role thing, right? So if they're sticking with this list for the Oscars, I'm hoping Sam Rockwell will get another one because I think he already has one, doesn't he?
He won an Oscar for 3 Billboards.
Right.
That came out.
And that was last year, so maybe not.
You know what? He earned it. I don't know if him being W is going to fucking do shit for him. Because I've heard he's very good
I've heard
as
that
W,
too,
but
yeah.
I don't. It might be Adam Driver. It might be, and honestly, it might be Richard E. Grant because Richard E. Grant is another actor that has been consistently really good and has not gotten shit, I don't think.
Right.
But I don't know.
Well,
I don't even know who we don't know who the nominees are, so we gotta
No, we don't know that yet, but you can speculate based on some of these. You know what I mean? Like some of these are going
to... Wait. Peter Farrelly?
What about him?
Of the Farrelly Brothers?
Is he from the Farrelly Brothers? I'm not familiar with them. I know who they are, but I don't know them individually. We'll put it that way.
There is a Peter Farrelly, but I want to double check it.
Give me a Farrelly Brothers movie real quick, because I know they've done a bunch. I just can't think of one offhand.
Dumb and Dumber.
Okay.
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber, Me, Myself, and Irene.
No, that's fine. I just needed one to look up directors. Yeah, that's him.
But click on it. I want to make sure it's because
that's him.
All we know.
Same fucking picture.
Wow, dude. Holy shit. So he is up for... so crazy.
He was up for Best Director. He did not win it. Alfonso Cuarón for Roma. I don't know.
Cuarón. I think it's pronounced Cuarón.
Cuarón, okay. But I
haven't seen Roma either. Everyone's been talking about this new fucking thing, Roma, on Netflix, and I haven't seen it.
I've never even heard of it, so that's new to me. I still think Bradley Cooper's going to get it. I do. I think they're going to give him the director and someone else, will get the best actor. That's how I think it's going to go down. That's my personal opinion.
How funny, just for 1 second, imagine if it's Peter Farrelly. Can you imagine how the fucking world would react? Like, wait, the director of Dumb and Dumber ended up winning a fucking Oscar?
Well, I mean, if the Green Book's as good as it looks, I think it's possible.
I had no fucking clue that was it.
And he actually won the Golden Globe for Green Book for screenplay.
Dude, I gotta hold on. Look at this, and I'm not like criticizing the way this guy looks. No, go back to best screenplay. You see, like the Deborah Davis and Tony McNamara.
Yeah.
I don't know these people. I don't know. I know nothing about them. Tony McNamara kind of looks like Tilda Swinton with a white beard.
A little bit. I see that.
In this photo, it looks like I legit thought it was Tilda Swinton in drag. I was like, holy shit.
Best animated went to Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I would have called. I would have actually had. I think I would have had it be either Ralph Breaks the Internet or Spider-Verse, because that was also incredibly good.
I will tell you right now, it's rare for them, like I said, for movies to win both the Golden Globe and the Oscar. I think Spider-Verse could be one of the few that does it, but if not, it's going to be Incredibles too.
I don't know, man. Isle of Dogs is a lot of people are loving that movie.
But Incredibles,
I don't give a fuck.
It's the Pixar name recognition that'll get at the movie or get at the Oscar.
I've heard it's not as good. Honestly, I've heard it's not as good as the first one.
It's not. But you know what you get from it is the feels. Like, you get the same feel and vibe from the first one, so it's a nice continuation. So it's because it's not a drop off. You know how some movies you get the first one and then you have such a gap because it's like 10 or 15 years between the two of them. I think in real lifetime.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get like a huge drop off the table, and that's not what happens here. It's not as good, but it's a slow decline. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like first one's amazing, second one's shit. It's not, but it's just slightly less.
I had a customer who had a really interesting complaint about it, which was that the animation for Pixar has improved drastically since the first one.
Yeah.
It's super jarring if you watch the first one and then the second one together, where it's like really good animation and then holy fuck, they definitely upgrade their fucking their PCs.
Like, I didn't see it that way, but
that was a big complaint that I heard recurring from customers.
All right, I don't care about foreign language films, so we're going to skip that.
Wow.
Well, I mean, how we can... Okay, so Roma won.
No, I'm just giving you shit because the way you phrased it was like, ooh.
Well, I didn't mean it like that, but I never... Because and this same thing with the Oscars. These foreign language, like short and foreign language long format or whatever, you never see them. Like, I never see them anyway, so some people do, I'm sure, but,
I see very rare of them. I'm always like, let Italy win. Well, Italy's not nominated. Well, fuck it, let it win anyways.
Right, well, in this list, Italy wasn't nominated, so there you go.
Well, then Mexico.
Score, as much as I love music, score is not something that usually jumps out at me, but I do love to see the Black Panther got a nod, so that was good.
I do like Marco Beltrami. He does some good work. Oh, actually, I met Mark Shaman. They got at the end. I got his autograph.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He did the music for a one-man show. I saw a Martin short called Fame Becomes Me or something.
Okay.
And he was there, and he did the music, and he was also on stage doing the piano and was part of the act. And I got his autograph, and I thought I didn't know who he was. And then I found out, years later that he, also wrote a lot of the music for, the South Park movie. He's a good composer. He does a lot of compositions. He's sort of like another Sondheim. He's sort of another Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Okay.
Guy. So I got an autograph from someone. I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah, right?
I have no idea where the fuck it is. That's why I'm really upset now. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Oh, that sucks. Best original song... Now, this category intrigued me just for the simple fact that I don't remember there being a song in Black Panther, like a standout song, but apparently it was nominated for a song called All the Stars.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. TV, The Americans won for Best TV Drama.
You know what? That is making us a fucking killing at the video room because everyone's now like, oh my God, the Americans won. We got to go rent the new season. I'm like, I mean, okay.
Yeah, I've heard good things about the show, but I've never seen it. But I've heard good things about it. So
Same here. I've always been told, oh my god, it's so good, blah, 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 blah. Oh, you know what? This best television series, musical or comedy, The Kaminsky Method.
Yeah.
Steph and I were like, we should watch this. Fuck, I'm so pissed off Barry didn't win. Barry was so goddamn good, dude. Dude.
Don't even know what that is.
Dude, this show, Barry, is so fucking amazing. It's Bill Hader as a hitman who goes to Hollywood to assassinate someone. And as he's staking the guy out and following him, he follows him into a acting class run by Henry Winkler. And then he realizes that he wants to be an actor and wants to stop being a hitman. And how he like tries to drop his career and become, it's really funny. It's really dark. And you're like, and Bill Hader does some of the best fucking acting I've seen in a long time.
Cool. You
would definitely like it. And it's just 12 or 13 episodes, but they are only a half hour long. So you can burn through it in a day.
You have to find out where it airs. Is it Netflix or what is it?
I think it was an HBO show, so if you have HBO.
Yeah, I could get it on demand if it's on HBO.
I find it if you can, man. I mean, it's even worth buying if you can buy it.
Well, yeah, I'm not in a position to do that right now, but I want to watch this kidding show with Jim Carrey because I heard good things about that. I just never got a chance to watch it.
It looks really creepy to me. He looks creepy. It looks like if Pee Wee Herman and Mr. Rogers were combined.
That's kind of what it is. Yeah.
I don't. There's a lot of Jim Carrey's personal life that I know a little bit too much about. That it might affect my opinion of the show because of my opinion of Jim Carrey.
Okay, fair enough.
That's my honest opinion. I do like The Good Place. I like that show.
I haven't seen it, so
it's on Netflix. It's the first 2 seasons on Netflix. It's binge worthy. It's worthy, and then you're gonna be like, "Fuck! I want to see what happens." I made the mistake of binging the entire second season in one fucking day, and been like, "I have nothing to watch."
Unfortunately, I had season 1 spoiled for me, so I know the twist at the end of the first season.
And I thought, just like you, I'm like, "Oh fuck! Like, what's gonna happen?" And then the second season does a very good job of making it every episode still fresh. That's the amazing thing about the show is I keep thinking, how the fuck are they gonna like cop this? And they find a fresh way of doing it. So I give the show credit where it's due.
So, yeah, that I don't know. There's still a lot of categories left.
What is Darren Criss?
He was in that Versace limited series.
I didn't watch it. I have no idea what any of these fucking things are.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of these either. That's why I'm kind of sliding through
my voice dropped considerably all of a sudden. I think it's all that dust I had in the
probably.
Yeah, my voice is dropping a little bit.
Anyway, we don't need to go through it. Michael Douglas got one for the Kaminsky Method, so happy.
I want to see it. I haven't seen it. I'm surprised Don Glover didn't get for Atlanta because Don Glover was getting everything all of a sudden.
Yeah, I like him now.
And I really wanted Bill Hader to win some shit. He was really good for Barry.
Hey, at least he got the nods. So
he created the show. I mean, that was the other thing is that he wasn't just like an actor. He like created the show and wrote almost every single episode and directed almost every single episode. So it was like really his baby.
Right. So that basically wraps up the Golden Globes to the point that we need to focus on it. Yeah, man. We thought we'd need filler. Nah, we're good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad, as always, I'm always happy and glad to record any type of episode with you, CJ.
Of course.
I was really looking forward to doing an Indiana Jones episode today because I've been wanting to do one for a long time.
We're still going to do it, and it's probably next on the docket, like the next episode.
It's got to be next because I have already been watching the first 2.
Yeah,
so
me
I'm going
too.
to finish 3 and 4. So
yeah,
I want to be fresh in my fucking mind. I've been doing it on research mode, and we will talk about. I have a whole thing to talk about.
All right. After we're done recording, I actually need your opinion on one quick thing before we go. But
yes, I think a sex change is perfect for you.
Well, okay, so 2 things. CJ here with a few thank yous and to let you know how you can get in touch with and follow the show and us. For PodAskew, go to iTunes, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts on your iPhone, and Google Play Music on your Android phone to listen to, subscribe, rate, and comment on the show, or the Listen Notes podcast search engine at www.listennotes.com. Go there, type in PodAskew, all one word, and you can stream us right there. If you want to agree with or yell at us directly, follow Rico, me, and the show on Twitter. The show is at PodAskew, Rico is at RantsRico, and I'm at M_Blade. If you need to contact the show for promotional reasons, tweet Stephanie at PodAskewPR. Check out Rico's YouTube channel, Rico's Rants, on YouTube at www.youtube.com/Rico's Rants. Thank you to Dubbed in English for our opening theme music, 96 Reasons. They're no longer online, but you can contact me for a copy of the full song or the whole Plan 9 EP. Thank you to Samuel Lemons for our closing music, Theme Askew. You can find his music on SoundCloud at www.soundcloud.com/Samuel-Lemons. Finally, our biggest thank you is to you, everyone, for listening. Rico and I really appreciate your time and look forward to bringing you another episode soon. Hey, Rico. I got nothing, man.
Damn it! PodAskew.